we're up on the river, and I got to thinking probably ought to do a video on looking for gold without a metal detector. Because I got to think, most every time I'm out, I got a metal detector in my hand, and I realize a lot of people don't have metal detectors. So I thought, got a few hours today, so I thought we'll do a little panning, and I'll show you what I look for, how to find gold without a metal detector. We're going to do it the old school way. All right, let's go find some gold. Okay, now in this video, I'm not going to go over the whole river dynamics thing, because that's a whole video in itself, or a couple. But basically, we're going to talk about the fact that gold will take the shortest route down the river. So basically, you just look upstream, and the old saying, the gold's on the inside of the turn and all that. It's going to take the shortest route down the river. But then you got to look at, there's a lot of stuff in the river that changes that whole dynamics of the gold traveling. So basically what we're going to do is we're starting with the basics, run inside of a turn. Okay, on the inside of the turn, then you have to start looking at your anything that will disturb the flow of the river, but more importantly, what your gravel is doing and what is the vegetation like. Now, I got a chunk of gravel bar here I want to show you. Okay, we're on the inside of the turn. Now, hopefully you can see it in the video, but as you go out this way, your gravel gets larger, your rocks get larger, and as you come in this way, they get smaller, but there's a definite line of boulders, and that is right along here. You can see this line of boulders. Everything on this side is getting quite a bit smaller. Everything on this side gets larger. So this tells us that right in here, right along this brush, and the brush is another indication you want to look at, but right along this brush, from this point that way, our flow is greatly diminished. Otherwise, this brush wouldn't be here. Now what you want to look for is you want to stay in this area of the heavy flow, because this is where your gold's going to be traveling. You get over in there, yes, you're going to find gold, but it's real fine flood gold. So what you want to look for is following this line to where it intersects with the bedrock. That's going to give you good flow on the bedrock, your best chance of finding gold. So let's head on upstream, see if we can find anything. If not, then we'll head downstream, see if we can find where this area contacts bedrock. Right in this area, we have bedrock that's come in contact with our larger rocks. Matter of fact, right up here, there's some really big rocks. Now, this whole area right in here gets hit pretty good. The brush is really small. It's maybe 2-3 years growth, and it's been a couple, 3 years since we had a flood, so you can't really consider this real small brush. There's a nice crevice right here, but I can see evidence where somebody's already dug it. Now, as a general rule, if you're in an area that gets a fair amount of people looking for gold, don't waste your time on the obvious crevices. They've been worked. So what we're going to do is we're going to look along on this bedrock and see if we can find us some smaller crevices, open them up, see if we can find a little bit of gold. Okay, well, I'm going to go grab my gear and let's see if we can find some gold. Well, the first thing that caught my eye is this bedrock that's coming across here There's no crevice to speak of, but the bedrock has an abrupt angle in it here, which will allow the gold to swirl around and drop in behind it. Now the trick is there a catch down here that'll hold it, or is it just smooth and it'll continue to go? But you can tell this area hasn't been looked at because people don't look for this. Now there is a seam here you can see, so I'm hoping that seam goes down to a low spot and it'll catch a little bit of gold. Okay, well, let's take a look. Now, as you're digging this out, you want to look at your gravel to make sure you have good, heavy, worn gravel. Now, I can see that it looks like we got a little crack here. And we do. We have a little catch right in here. Not much of one, but it's got gravel packed in it. So let's pull that out. Now see, that's continuing on down. Now our gravel, what I'm looking at here, this gravel is real smooth. It's got that sheen to it, so we know it's a dense stone because you can't polish a lighter stone that's not dense. So the fact that we got the good heavy gravel laying in here, nice washed gravel, that's a good sign. Okay, we'll pull some of this gravel out of here. It's actually starting to look like a really good spot. Now, I just broke this piece of bedrock off. Make sure that you clean all the dirt off that bedrock, because that's where your gold's going to be stuck. Now we're going to clean our whole area up here. Okay, we have several nice little cracks down in here that got gravel in them. And in this dead zone is a good area for that gold to drop out, because it can get out of the flow, work its way down into these crevices. Okay, well, that's pretty much everything out of there. Let's take this down and pan it out, see if we got any gold. Now what I wanted to show you here is, as you pan this down, you want to observe your gravel. Now see, these are all nice heavy stones. This one's a little bit on the lighter side, but they're all nice heavy stones. So that's a really good indication. Now the next thing we want to look for is the black sand, the amount of black sand, and the coarseness of the black sand. Okay, I'll pan this down to the black sand and we'll take a look at that. Okay, now we're down to just our fine brown sand and a little bit of black sand, and we do have some gold in there. But what I wanted to show you was, now I don't know how well this is going to work, but the black sand is fairly coarse. Not real coarse, but fairly coarse. And you can see we have a couple of nice little flakes in there. Now we do have one piece here that actually has a little more weight to it. There's our huge nugget. Okay, well, I'm going to clean these up with the snuffer bottle, and then we're going to do a little more looking, see if we can find an actual real crevice. We got a little crevice going along here. It's got gravel in it. So what we're going to do, pull all this loose stuff off the top, and then we'll have to check and see if we got gravel down in it, and we do have gravel down in it. Okay. I want to make sure you get all the way down to the bottom of the crevice. Now we got some gravel that's packed down in the bottom, which is good. Now hopefully it's a small enough crevice that nobody's opened it before us. But you want to make sure you get every single rock out of there. Take the brush and sweep the bottom of that clean, and it's nice to have a spot like right here where you can sweep it up to and then pick it up. If not, you can always sweep it into a small spoon. But we got a pretty good spot right here. Okay, this side looks a little better than the other side. It's a lot deeper. And it's got gravel packed all the way to the bottom, which is what we want. Okay, now I have this swept down to where I can see all the bedrock, and I can see that there is no more gravel in that bedrock. I've got a little bit left. We'll scoop that up. All right, we'll take this down, pan it out. Okay, we got 3 pieces out of that crevice, and no, like the first crevice, we had a lot of little tiny fine gold down to the stuff you couldn't hardly see. This is just 3 pieces. A little bit larger, but that tells me that that crevice has probably been cleaned out, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years ago, where the one down here that wasn't so obvious, I don't think it's ever been cleaned out because it had a larger accumulation of gold in it, where this one, I'm pretty sure was probably cleaned at one time, and then a couple of floods have dropped these in. Well, let me show you what we got. Okay, you can see we got 3 pieces here. They are larger than the other ones we found, and this one right here is actually, I would qualify that as a picker. Small picker, but a picker. Well, that's all we're going to have time for today. I got to get out of here early today. But when you're looking for gold and you don't have a metal detector, you really have to pay attention to the river. It will give you all the clues you need to find the gold. The brush, any plant growth around will also help. If you have a tree, a fair-sized tree growing off the bank, and it's not beat to death, well, there's no flow there, there's no rocks, there's nothing hitting that tree, so you're not going to have any gold of any size there. If you got a tree that's just beat over, bent, broke, bark's tore up, well then there's stuff going by that tree and you got a lot more flow in that area. Same thing with the river bottom itself. Pay attention to the gravel. You want to stay in the heavier flow for the larger pieces. Now, if the river you're on doesn't have a lot of large gold, then you want to get out of that heavier flow into the smaller rocks so big around that still are going to carry the gold but not blow it away. So these are all factors you have to take into play when you're looking on the river, but the river will tell you where the gold is. Hopefully I'm going to get a chance to do another one of these videos. We're coming into the spring now, so I'll get more time on the river and we can explain this out a lot further then. Okay, well, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, you're not going to see me back at the house because we don't have enough gold here to weigh. So that's all I got on this one. I'm out of here. You guys have a wonderful day. Okay, I lied. We're back at the house. I don't know. I just got to see if I got enough gold that it'll weigh. Got it all cleaned up. It's over on the table here, and it should be all dry by now. So let's jump over there and see if we found enough gold to weigh. Okay, let's see if we can make it move. 0.14 grams. Well, I can't believe we made the scale move. Okay, now that's all I got. We'll catch you in the next video. You guys have a wonderful day.